What is up guys, Munash here, and we are back with more Alliance War gameplay. This is the first war of Season 17, and I'm going to be doing Part 4 as usual, and I'm going to pick my usual team of Stealth Spidey and Quake with the Black Widow synergy so I can Quake some Dominos. So first up we have Domino with Spite and Unstoppable. And for this one, I usually don't boost for this fight, but I actually need to apply the boost for the next fight, so I figured I might as well boost here as well. So I'm just going to use a champion boost and a health boost. So for this fight, I'm just going to go in with Quake. And the key here is just to not trigger dexterity. So typically you'd want to parry, although I'm going to be doing some heavy only because I just find that actually somewhat easier, and just to avoid the block damage as well. So I start off there with the parry when I'm in the corner, charge my heavy attack, and fortunately she goes back, which gives me enough space to heavy only. And it's a lot easier to heavy only when she gives you a bit of space, because then you can sort of anticipate her actions and react in time. So yeah, this is why I bring Black Widow synergy, so I can just take on this fight with no problems whatsoever. And even though it is a champion slot that I have to use just for synergy, it actually still works out pretty well, because Quake can do almost all the other fights in Alliance War, so I usually only have to rely on 2 champs. Okay, so now we have a Killmonger with Spite and Aspect of War next. So for this one I am going to use a bit of a skill special boost. Just the 8% one, because I probably will use my special 2 in this fight, although I know that I won't need to use more than 1 special 2. So I'm also going to use Combat Generation because Killmonger's reverb can be annoying, and also the next fight I have a Brute Force Doom, so that'll just help mitigate a bit of damage that I take from blocking and reverb and from Brute Force in the next fight. So I activate my web foam to get the slow debuffs. Just reading the nodes. So I used to often start with the power start boost for this fight, but now I'm feeling a little bit more confident and comfortable with how I time my specials. So I apply the slow on the second combo, because that's when he's going to throw the special for the first time. And now I've got my Precision passive and my Fury passive, so I'm pretty much good to go. Just gotta bait out his specials before he reaches his 3 bars of power. And make sure I apply the slow before he can use a special attack. And fortunately he is cooperating here, throwing his specials quite nicely. So now I throw the special 2. There, I did take quite a bit of reverb damage, but it's not too bad. And then finish him with the special 1. So yeah, there he goes down in about 1 minute. Not too bad at all. And now, oh boy, now I have a Doom with Unstoppable and Brute Force. And fortunately they're actually using Flow, which I do prefer when I'm Quaking, because I am going to have to parry here and there in this fight, so I won't take too much block damage. So yeah, this is a bit of a tricky fight for Quake. You kind of have to weave in some attacks here and there just to disable Brute Force, and you gotta watch out for the Unstoppable as well. I actually want to go a little bit back because it's then easier to punish him with a light attack. Like that. So now he's going to be stunned, so I have to just rush in and just hit him once. Carry on quaking. Sneaking a light over there. Back to the stun. Drop my heavy. Now he has a bar of power, so I have to bait a special one. Fortunately, he throws it quite quickly. Now I just have to parry to get off that degen. Back to quaking. Light tap again. Now I just want to make sure I parry before, because he does have the Unstoppable, but I did wait a bit longer there. But it's not too bad, now he's almost done. Probably just one more tap. Just parry, drop it. He has a bar of power, so I throw my special one. And that's it. And that's how you Quake with brute force. Okay, now fast forward to the next day, section 2, and I only have one fight on part 4. But I will be doing the other fights leading up to section 3. So now we have Hood with Redoubled Determination, and this is just a simple Quake fight. Not much problems here. And they are using the flow defense tactic, so your crits will give them a passive power gain. But Quake, we're not going to be hitting them, so we can't crit. So really, she pretty much just ignores flow. And it's always nice quaking when you have class advantage, because then her damage goes up quite significantly. So I decided to drop my heavy there, since that will finish him off. And now we have Guillotine 2099. And she has limited immunity, double determination, and buff toggle unblockable. Once again, Quake will pretty much just bypass all these nodes. So it's again another fairly simple Quake fight, as long as we don't parry while she's unblockable. So yeah, this is a pretty typical war for me. I often do the vast majority of my fights with Quake, because she just bypasses so many nodes, so many abilities, that I feel she's my best option for most of the fights. Because I also feel very confident using her. And now limited immunity has weighed off, so now we can get in our concussions and our stuns. And concussion will bypass that unblockable. Drop my heavy there. I was hoping it would take her out, but unfortunately not, so I just decided to Quake a little bit more. And then she goes down. And now we have Sentinel with Kinetic Instigator, Tank Buster, and Safeguard. So once again, going with Quake, and pretty much just ignore all those nodes. Nice thing about Quaking Sentinel is he pushes you back a little bit more after you evade his medium. So you can just heavy again instead of dashing back, until you're in a corner, of course. Almost there. Okay, then I just give him the death stare. And he goes down. Alright, so that's section 2 down. Shout out to Sudia. And now for the last section, I'm going to be taking the mini bosses on the right. So I am going to use a champion boost because the first fight is stun immune. And it's Doc Ock, who is quite aggressive and has a lot of wacky animations. So without this boost, there's a chance I might time out. Yeah, so Doc Ock with breakthrough and stun immunity. So I decided to use a level 4 health potion because I do have a couple in overflow and I think a few are about to expire. And the thing about Quaking with stun immunity is that the fights generally take longer because you won't be holding your heavy as much, because there's a lot more evading and dexing involved. And Doc Ock with these tentacles all over the place can be a little bit tricky to Quake. You have to kind of get used to his animations or just get used to Quaking. So at this stage of the fight, I was a little bit nervous because I still have 67% left and there's a minute to go. But I figured with Assassin and the way things are going, I should be able to solo this fight. But not with much time to spare. Now you see he's being very aggressive, which means I don't get a lot of aftershocks on. So now since I'm not holding my heavy as much because of how aggressive he's being, my aftershock damage won't be as high as it can be. So now here I'm a third of the way there and just over a minute left, so I'm feeling fairly confident now. Okay, now we're in assassin range. Still got more than enough time. Just 1 or 2 more sets of aftershocks. Oof, and he goes down with 19 seconds left. Okay, and now we have ManThing with recovery, strike back, and armor. Once again, Quake will ignore all those nodes. So after that first evade, I noticed that ManThing's medium attack also pushes you back quite a bit, like Sentinel's. So I can just hold heavy until I'm in a corner. And despite him having much more health in the last fight, we also have class advantage, and because it's not stun immune, my damage output would be a lot higher. So this fight should be much quicker. Only 35% left. And still plenty of time. And that should do it. Yeah. Okay, now for the last fight on this war, I've got a debuff immune Warlock with crit resistance and energy resistance. And once again, Quake will bypass all of that, making it relatively simple, although he is debuff immune so I can't stun him, which means the fight will take a little bit longer than the last one. So there I accidentally dropped my heavy and get hit a few times. And at this stage I'm like, I'm at 56% health, so to make this fight go faster, I decide I'm actually gonna parry a couple of times so I can drop below 50%, so the Courage Mastery can activate, which will give me a 10% attack increase. So yeah, this is all intentional. Here I'm just trying to parry him. I'm hoping I can get to below 50% before he gets an infection on me. There we go. 49%, and he has 19 viruses. But now I can just heavy dex. Okay, so 50%, still got more than a minute and a half left. So I'm feeling quite confident now. Like, I just didn't want this fight to be as close as the Dark Arc one. So I decided, why not just, take a bit of damage here since it's the last fight I have to do. Okay, 1 minute left. 15% left. And Warlock goes down. And there we go. So yeah, that's it. That's the first war of Season 17. Quake absolutely destroyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.